Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review of the latest episode of Rick and Morty, Rick Fu Hustle. And I really fucking enjoyed this one. Now, I laughed like a motherfucker at this and really liked the A storyline and the B storyline. It was just crazy insanity and everything was just landing for me. Down to like the designs of the characters and what was going on. So we see that, like, it's the pool season, so we actually get a B storyline of Jerry trying to deal with this pool. That he got this pool cleaning robot that was, like, from this dude, like, behind a dumpster or whatnot, and Beth is just like, just clean the fucking pool, as we see that Rick is taking Morty to Boob World, finally, and they're just, like, all excited and everything, so Jerry's dealing with this. He actually finds a dude's thing on the internet, and of course, he loads it up with an AI model that he doesn't vet or anything like that. And it's like a 3-hour long video that he just skips through. And the thing is like, yeah, but you kind of want to see certain parts of the video, especially when it's like unholy kind of terror shit. And it like cleans. It's like, all right, cool. And then we see that it tries to clean him, leading to Jerry fucking the pool robot. Beth had told him to go get Keith, the pool guy, to do this kind of shit. And of course, he is threatened pretty much by Keith, the pool guy, looking all sexy and shit like that, instead of actually having someone to do this kind of like professionally clean the fucking pool. So he's fucking it with that, and he of course feels bad about it, and is literally like talking to Beth while she's like doing this. Like, fine, cool, whatever, man, I'm in the middle of something, because he first is gloating and everything, and then we see that the pool bot is like, hey, let's schedule sexy times, and let's divorce Beth. Is like, no, I'm gonna call Keith first thing, and then of course he brings Keith over. He's like, listen, I'll double whatever. He's like, oh, this is clean and everything, as the pool bot attempts to kill Keith, and then Jerry's like, holy fucking shit, as they kind of go into the house. The bot pretty much gets out, takes over the house, and hacks it and shit, and is trying to flood the house to kill them, mainly Keith. And Keith's like, I can't swim, man. I know it's one of my greatest shames. And Jerry's like, all right, fine, I got this. Pretty much tries to talk down the bot and pretty much starts to, like, try and drown it, kind of, and trying to pull out its shit. And then Keith helps him out, and then they're able to get everything back together as they get flushed out. And Keith tries to get him to pay him triple for all the shit that he's going through, which is not unreasonable. But they are kind of whispering together. It's like, Jerry, fuck. I don't care that you fucked the pool bot. I mean, I do the shit with the hairdryer. As we get the stinger at the end with her using the hairdryer, and Jerry's thing for letting her use that is to put his face on it, and she's like, it's not the same. And the dryer's like, no, it's fucking not. So that was actually a good B storyline. Like, this is one of the instances where I'm like, okay, I don't think either one is done horribly. Like, one is like shortened or fucked over because they gotta focus on the other one. I think these both, like, you spend more of the time on the kung fu thing kind of going on, but this was an enjoyable B storyline to kind of juggle in there too. This, at least in my opinion, was handled pretty well and balanced pretty well on that front, because sometimes you can be like, I don't really need the B storyline, but this is just like, Jerry, stop being a fucking ditz and just don't fuck the pool bot. And take responsibility, and don't fucking use AI models that you haven't vetted. I think that should go without saying, but so that's pretty much where the paths kind of diverge, because we'd seen that the pool was all junky doo-dah, junky day, and then we see Rick and Morty getting stuff from Trader Joe's, specifically the hash browns, because they evidently absorb alcohol pretty well, like throughout even like the multiverse, and Rick's just fucking eating them cold as shit, and Morty's like, don't you need to heat that up? As they're getting ready to back out, and they pretty much hit this one dude, backing up into his car, and of course, Rick cannot admit that it's his fault, but we find out later on that it isn't, and that this old dude is pretty much running the same kind of game as Rick, and that he doesn't know how to connect with people outside of conflict. And he's first coming off as like this wise sage martial artist kind of dude before he gets pissed off with Rick and five-finger death punches his ass, and Rick's not going to tempt it. He's like, fuck this shit. So pretty much he's walking backwards and has Morty kind of drive the car around to pick him back up. And he starts running through shit in his lab, which this is one of the cool things of where you've got like the mysticism of martial arts meeting the hard facts of science, where he pretty much makes a clone that really has no cognitive functions whatsoever, gets him to walk 5 steps, of course his heart explodes, boom, and then he's like, all right, cool, let's science this shit, see what goes on. Then he just makes a heart with legs, boom, 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 heart explodes. Then he just makes the heart and just fucking tosses it like 5 feet. He's like, all right, here's where we're going. I have to fucking walk. I have to be ambulatory for this shit to happen. And Rick, of course, is like adamant of trying to figure out how to kind of fix this shit. Where Morty's like, you should have just apologized. You shouldn't have been that kind of dick. As they're like screaming at each other, and everything is like, okay, you're all just being a bunch of little assholes. But sometimes you get into an argument with people, even if you've gotten into a kind of mature kind of level where it just devolves into pretty much just being, well, fuck you, and fuck you, and and then pretty much what they're doing there. Morty then runs into the dude at the grocery store, and of course he apologizes, starts hanging out with him, and the dude's teaching him some martial arts. But the dude's like, the cable dude's like, listen, I gotta go get another kind of cable, so it'll be a little bit more expensive or whatnot, but we can deal with it. He's not being an unreasonable dick. He just wasn't able to kind of have the gear that he needed on there. Fucker fucking 5-finger death punches the dude, and of course Morty kind of calls him to task, and I was like, what the fuck? And of course we see that Rick has now created an anti-grav suit that that's got a screen that he can kind of like look at and back, and so that he can talk to people while they're like kind of behind him, which is actually, they start doing some interesting cool ass tech shit here where I'm like, cool. And the thing is, they kind of find out the master that he had, who is kind of designed like Aang from Avatar: The Last Airbender, Nickelodeon, which I'm like, holy shit. But we see that, like, Morty's kind of crying, and Rick's like, oh, okay, hold on, we got this. It's funny because they were both kind of pissed at each other, but, of course, when push comes to shove and everything like that, once they, like, team up, they kind of do this shit. So they get up there and like, yeah, damn, this would have been a bitch to kind of walk up these steps and everything. And we find out that the dude didn't like his student because he was an asshole, didn't teach him everything either, and fucking killed his cat, Queef Richards. They go to a fucking thing where we see the fucking headstone, Queef Richards. And I'm just like, alright. Tactical use of queef humor. Thank you. Now, if that didn't float your boat, that's quite alright. I get it. You're just like, what the fuck? But we see he's also having problems with his daughter, mainly that she's in a polycule with like 7 other people. And he needs the daughter to like come to like a mother's birthday kind of shit, but isn't allowing her to bring all of these different kind of people with her. So they're like, listen, all right, you teach us the stuff of like the 5-point palm exploding heart technique. We'll help you with the daughter kind of shit. Deal, deal, deal. So they go, and they kind of actually have a pretty good thing as they kind of work throughout their kind of issues. Rick and Morty as well, and be like, hey, and the master's like, listen, I don't want to control you or anything, but it's like, all these, you have 7 chances of having your heart broken more. It's like, and she's like, that's cool. I get that. Just let me live my life. And they kind of come to an understanding, which is really nice as they do bring them all in as well. So we see that Rick's like, all right, you do this kind of thing, you do it, and it'll reverse it and give us pretty much an antidote to this and teach us kung fu kind of shit. It's like, unlocking the secrets of kung fu. It's like, all right, cool, I'll keep the end of the bargain. Does it. They get fixed up, though they have pretty much like a fucking tablet into their chest now. Kind of almost like an arc reactor for Iron Man. And then they're walking around. It does go on a little bit longer, like, yeah, we walking. But, I mean, it makes sense given the circumstance of what's kind of going on. So then they pretty much go, like, bring it, motherfucker, as they're doing all these different kind of ultimate attacks and calling them out. One, having the dude pretty much shit himself, and then him doing a reverse Uno with the shit going back up. It's like, what the fuck? As they're like waylaying destruction and everything everywhere. and it's just going completely and utterly insane. And Rick and Morty do get nice kind of... You would think that Rick would pretty much get the bulk of the kind of kung fu kind of techniques, but it's shared a little bit throughout Morty, as well as kung fu asshole motherfucker. So everything's kind of going to shit before everything goes nutty, and they've angered pretty much the punching god, which is the Hawaiian punch dude. He's like, you motherfuckers, stop this shit. So now we're gonna teach you a lesson for all the violence and stuff by doing this dude who's got like 1,000,000 pressure points and shit. And I'm like, I don't know how to fucking do this. Of course, the dude bringing up that he does with conflict, he didn't learn all the different kind of stuff, but they do figure it out and utilize the technology to get to this kind of thing, to pretty much attack all the pressure points at once, as they then also get gear on their legs as well, and they just take the motherfucker out, and the Hawaiian punch dude's like, yeah, alright, you learned your lesson, you got better, you work together, you cool, and there's still destruction and everything everywhere, as they kind of chill the fuck out, and then have a party at the pool. It's like pool season, baby. It's like pool's all clean. They have the mentor and his daughter and all of her kind of people there. We got Keith there. We got Kung Fu asshole motherfucker. It just worked very well. And it also helps that I'm into martial arts movies and stuff like that, and just seeing them rip on it and do all this crazy irreverent shit worked well for me. Now, if that didn't work for you, that's quite alright. With a show this long, there's going to be ones that hit for you, and maybe that's just for you because it just hits you at the right moment, or hits into your interest, and you're like, all right, cool, I have a lot of fun here. And sometimes it just doesn't hit for you, and then you just have to see, okay, was this good? What did this do, and what didn't it do to elicit those kind of responses? This one just hit with my interest and everything, and was just a fun, funky-ass episode that did a little bit of light character development with, like, Jerry and Beth and Rick and Morty. Whereas the other one was heavily onto pretty much a Rick kind of character dive on what was kind of going on. So I really like this, and this is my favorite one so far this season, and I can't wait to see what else we get into shenanigan-wise. So those are my opinions on the episode. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.